Ja, ik kan op hier gewoon alles zeggen, toch?
Je kan alles zeggen.
Oh,
man.
How did you react when you found out about my borderline personality disorder? To be honest, I don't really remember the moment exactly.
In de eerste instantie schrikken. Maar ik wist ook niet echt wat borderline precies was. Dus na het opgezocht te hebben, was het inderdaad gewoon schrikken.
I think at first we all thought that you were just going through a rough time, having some broken heart issues and stuff like that. And I remember my mother once told me way before you found out you had borderline that she said, yeah, I think he might have borderline, and I didn't know exactly at that time what it was, and I didn't pay any attention to it. So, but later on, when we found out, I thought, yeah, well, she was right. But I don't really remember what my reaction was. I think it was that I was happy that it had that there was a reason for your behavior, that it had a name and that we could do something about it, and it made a lot clear for me and for you, I think. What is it like for you to interact with me and my borderline personality disorder? Well, it's different. It changes every time. It is really different now than it was years ago.
Wel bewust meer rekening houden dingen met, maar voor de rest ben ik niet echt anders met jou omgegaan.
Every time it's different to interact with it. Sometimes it's really easy because then there's nothing borderline inside you. So I see it like sometimes there's borderline and sometimes there's just you, and you always have to find out whether it is borderline or whether it's you yourself. So lately it's going really, really well, and a couple of years ago it was a lot harder. What is the hardest situation you ever had to face dealing with me and my personality disorder? And what did I do?
Ik schrok heel erg. Toen je op jezelf had gesneden in je arm. Dat ik het achteraf te horen kreeg. Ja. Dat is denk ik de moeilijke situatie wel.
I think in the beginning we had a really, really, really close relationship. I think we were seeing each other like every day for a really long time, and you were like really, really close to me, and you had a lot of problems, and I was able to help a little bit just to be there. And I think at that time we were way too close. You were way too much depending on me, and I was feeling that I was the one that had to do something, and it was just wrong. But at that time for me it was really easy because all I had to do was just be there for you whenever you called in the night. So that was really easy. But after that it kind of changed, and I think most people will expect that I will say that the hardest situation with you was the time where you tried to commit suicide, because we saw each other that day, and you left me, and I knew immediately that there was something wrong. I think a lot of people will expect that was really hard for me, but to be honest, that wasn't so hard because I knew exactly at the time what was wrong. I knew exactly what I had to do. I knew for a really long time that it would happen. But what was really hard after that was that you went into institution where they helped you and you stayed there, and that was a lot more difficult for me because you didn't want to see me, and I really had the urge to visit you, but you didn't want to see me, and I had the feeling that you abandoned me and you pushed me away. So that was a lot more difficult for me because I felt like I lost you anyway, that you were still there, but you were not you anymore. And I think that's the hardest thing for me, that I had to say goodbye to someone who is still there. And it's kind of a grieving process, like you lose someone, but you don't really lose him, he's just a different person. So the person that you started a friendship with is not there anymore. So you have to accept that the person is becoming someone else, and after that you have to I think build up a new friendship, because the person is a different person. So it's like having a new friendship with another person, but in your mind you still remember the time before. So you have to put it together in your head, because there's a part of you that is all the time looking for the person from before, and another part in your head says, well, the person is not here anymore, this is now the way it is, and this is also nice and fun, and now we can still do a lot of nice things. There's a small part of me that is all the time still expecting that the boss from before will be back, and then you get that person is not there anymore, so it's hard to cope with that. I think that for me is the hardest part. Do you have any tips for people who are dealing with someone with borderline personality disorder? Well, I think right away you have to make for yourself, well, there's one part borderline and there's one part the person who has the borderline. I think you have to keep those two things apart for yourself. And also I think it's really important not to expect anything from someone with borderline personality disorder, because you never know what will happen, so you can never really depend on someone, and you also have to accept that. I mean, and really accept that and not getting angry, and just know that this is just the way it is. And I think when you don't expect anything, then everything that happens is just really good, because you're not getting disappointed when you don't expect anything. So I think that's the most important thing. And just be yourself. Don't give in too much, because I don't think you can help a person with borderline. So you don't have to you don't have to give yourself the illusion that you can help someone, because then you really will be disappointed, and it's not your job to help, it's just your job to just be there and be yourself.
Blijf eerlijk, praat veel. Ik denk dat het ook verschil is of het je broer of je zus, je moeder, je vader of een vriend is, hoe je daarmee omgaat. Jij bent mijn broer, dus ik kan ook altijd eerlijk tegen jou zijn. Dan kan je verrot schelden, maar dan kan je ook een knuffel geven, bij wijze van. Dus.
I think what a person with borderline disorder really needs is just someone he can trust, and I think the most important tip is to try to take everything serious, and to try to not find anything weird. When boss tells me something that for me is kind of weird, I always try to keep in my mind that for him it's real. So for him it's a real situation, and for me it might be strange, but for him it's real. So I always try to react in a way that doesn't show any judgment. I always try to make clear that I maybe don't understand him in the way that he feels it, but that I understand that it's upsetting him. I think that's for me the most important thing to do. I don't understand anything that's going on in his mind when he has a borderline problem, but I always try to make clear that I do understand his pain and his suffering. I think that's might be a good tip. For example, the time where you told me that you were cutting yourself, I think my natural reaction to that is to say like, oh my god, that's really scary and weird and not right, and oh my god, you shouldn't do that and stuff like that. But I think that's not going to help. I think that will only make things worse. And so I think what you should do as a friend of someone with a personality disorder is you should immediately cut that part of you that wants to say, oh my god, shut that part up, because it's not going to help. And I think you have to try to react as serious as possible. So try to keep your voice normal and try to choose your words a bit carefully. I think it's best to just ask questions like, why do you do it, and how does it make you feel when you do it, and do you want to make it stop, or do you find it's a problem? I think then you're creating a kind of distance that will help you to cope with your own emotions. I think it's good just to ask some serious questions, just to keep the conversation going about it, because when you react like, oh my god, then the conversation stops. Then that is just it, because then you have a difference that is just way too big, because there's my oh my god reaction, and there's his there's your honesty and your need to tell me something. So I think it's good to start asking questions, because then you have a helicopter. No, I mean then you have the start of a conversation, and then you can talk about it. Is there a difference between Bas now, like today, and Bas 4 years ago? Yeah, I think there's a extremely big difference.
Ik denk dat je een stuk rustiger bent geworden wel. Jezelf ook meer onder controle hebt.
I think we had a period of time where you were just Bas, just normal. And after that the borderline came, and then it was this really extreme borderline Bas. And after that, I think that's the period where we are in now. It's just a little bit of borderline and more Bas, I think. So there's a huge difference between those 3 periods. And for me, sometimes it's almost as if the Bas from before is back, but it's never exactly the way it was. And I don't know, I think it's all borderline is always there a little bit, somewhere in the corner. Any tips for Bas?
Ik denk dat je heel veel gegroeid bent de afgelopen 4 jaar. Een stuk sterker bent geworden. En nee, ik zou je geen tips kunnen geven, eerlijk gezegd.
No, really. I think it's going really well right now, so I don't know what you're doing at the moment to keep it that way, but I would continue doing that.